I pushed the button. It didn't go. I pushed it. Good morning, everybody. Ho, 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 ho. I'm so ready for Christmas. And Deacon, I know you're right. I know you're ready for Christmas too. I got ornaments, but I just realized that they're clanky and they're dinging on my mic. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I am JJW. This is rumble.com/JJW or youtube.com/something else. I think it's JJW8071. Who cares? Whatever. Thanks for watching. I see Brian's here already. I'm so excited to talk to guys. Today is November 30th, 2022. And today we're going to talk about planes, trains, and Dundering Nincompoops. Deacon, I have stacked with stories. I love it when there's such a good news day that I have to close my door because I'm gonna wake my kids up. I love it when there's such a good news day that I can like prep the stories like by 2 or 3 in the afternoon and get my title card ready because then I can like enjoy the rest of the day and don't have to wake up in a panic sweat.
You don't like that, and I've been trained over the years to do that, to plan for the next day, and then when stuff happens, you've got to have your bits to where you can you can dump them and put the more important things in. So yeah, but you like structure and you like things to be in lists and plans and stuff like that, and I'm very much the hey dude, whatever happens. Let's just go with the flow, brother.
I mean, I like to have something available for me to grab on to be like, I need to talk about this, or I need to have something. Yeah. Obviously, now hold on. So here's the thing, Deacon. There's like different kinds of entertainers, and I'm not saying I'm an entertainer, but I am trying to be entertaining for the viewers watching the show. I want them to both be
a phone call.
It's not just a phone call.
Why don't you guys just call each other?
SMH7269.
That was the best comment.
That's so great. I liked it. I thumbs it up. I put a little heart on it. Like there's this different kinds of entertainment, and I am trying to be entertaining and also tell you guys the news. And some of that news is fake, and also. Sometimes I'm just trying to like get to a gag to make me laugh. All of these things are true.
Yeah.
All of these things are true.
A lot of times JJ will take the 4-mile journey to make a small joke so that you laugh.
Yes.
And I love it because you have a genuine laugh and you're very pleased with yourself, and it cracks me up every time.
Yeah. Sometimes you can see it coming. You can be like, I know that he's setting these up.
Yeah. Yeah. Over the years, I found out the way that you set up your jokes, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's coming now.
So we had, there were so many stories yesterday. So very often we talk about political stories. It has been the political season. It's not my fault. But also, and it's also kind of a thing that I am interested in, the well-being of our country, putting, nuclear waste disposal in the hands of mentally ill cross-dressers and things like that.
So I read a little bit more about that story yesterday. Supposedly that bag that she stole it. I'm not trying not to be disrespectful here. I don't know what to call it. Is it a girl?
It's a gender non-binary.
Those words don't mean shit to me. Am I supposed to say he, she, or it? What am I supposed to say? It's one of those things.
I would, based on the necklace and the attire, I would say
she.
I would say she. That would be my first guess. However, based on the disgusting mustache right there, I would probably say it's a he. So, I don't know what the rules are for So anyway, yeah, go please tell.
I don't even remember what I was even talking about.
You were saying I think you were talking.
Thrown a wrench into my world.
Sorry.
That bag.
Yeah.
Was supposed. Yeah, there you've got it. It was a big expensive bag, and she knew. God, stop. That's gonna give me. I'm gonna dream about that mustache chasing me down a hallway with a freaking.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That bag was worth $2,300. $2,325.
They knew. Whatever it is, they knew. They saw that bag.
You know what, Deacon? I knew yesterday. I wrote it in our notes. I said, Deacon. Because I wrote a little note here.
I think you did. Yeah. What did you say again?
I know you were worried about that lady's suitcase. So here's some additional details. Brenton, so you can call this thing a Brenton. We'll just call it a Brenton.
Okay.
Brenton is charged with stealing $2,325 Vera Bradley suitcase. I think Vera Bradley is like some I don't know, Tommy Hilfiger designer type.
Vera Bradley? I don't know the names. I know that name sticks out, but if you were to say where you buy Vera Bradley, I'd say, I don't know, Walmart. I don't know. I don't know.
If there's anybody that ever heard you just say that in walking around New York City, they're just gonna probably throw their own phones.
I mean, is that an expensive brand? The Gucci? I know, is that like a Gucci, a Vera Bradley? Look at me. Do I look like somebody that wears Vera Bradley or knows who the fuck Vera Bradley is? That's like Martha Stewart, Rachel Ray.
The people that would buy a Vera Bradley bag are the people who would not allow
a
picture of themselves to be going to go through Walmart, much less
those people. Yeah, those people that have Vera Bradley stuff are people that would not talk to me. Okay, that's fine. That's all I needed to know.
So, Mr.
Just say Sam.
Sam's in trouble.
Sam's
like one of those names like Pat, too.
Right? Get out of my brain, dude. Get out of my brain. I was just thinking right there.
All right. Oh, my God. Okay, so Sam is apparently facing a felony charge in, I think it was Minnesota, right?
Can you just scroll down?
Minneapolis, St. Paul. Yeah, you don't want to look at.
No,
dude, check out this really. Necklace. You see the necklace?
It's beautiful.
It highlights the neck and the bald head, and then the. Okay, we'll go down a little.
No.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get to more. It's Minneapolis, St. Paul, and okay. So here's the thing. He's being charged. I'm just calling it. It's obviously
Sam's being charged.
Sam's being charged with felony theft and faces up to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. But we both know he's going to plead down and he's never going to go to jail and he's probably not going to pay all that money. But here's the thing: this son of a bitch lied to the police. At first, he said. I'm sorry. I have to scroll past this to get to the statement.
I'm making sure my radio station is running good.
Yeah. Brenton initially denied stealing the suitcase to police officers. So we talked about yesterday, this person was seen was on a flight, had no reason to be in luggage carousel area, because that's for when you get off a flight and get the F out of the airport. This person went into the luggage claim area, grabbed this fancy bag, was like, is this my bag? Remove the tags.
They didn't even have anything in there. You know, there was no reason to be in the luggage area, right?
There was no reason. Exit. The luggage claim is always on the exit.
Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah. So he was in there to grab something. So yeah, so he went in there and grabbed a bag. No, he wasn't. He was not leaving. He was going on another flight.
Oh.
So the only reason he was in luggage claim was to steal some bags.
That's what I'm getting at. They had nothing in that. God damn it! I hate these fucking pronouns. I can't even fucking have a goddamn normal conversation with a sentence. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm going to call it she. She had no reason to be in the luggage claim because she had no baggage that would be coming off of that in the baggage area, correct?
Right.
So she should not have been in that area at all if she only had a carry-on. And once again, for anyone, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I can't have a sentence saying they all the time because I can't even say it correctly. I can't.
That's not even English. That's wrong English.
My brain don't even work trying to say they the damn time.
You know they do that to you on purpose. They, they're trying to disrupt your neurons in your brain.
Yeah, mark it up to me being stupid that my brain can't figure out how to do that. It's fine with me. I'm stupid. My brain can't figure out how to do that.
Okay, so this person grabbed a suitcase, ripped the tags off, hopped on another flight, and got going. And it was on video, and then he was confronted
because she saw that it was an expensive Vera Bradley Walmart bag. That's not no Rachel Ray.
But hold on. So this person was then confronted about this and said, it said that she took the wrong bag.
Let's just change let's just go to a different story because who gives a shit about
I'm trying to get to the details here. The details are this person said, if I had taken the wrong bag, I'm happy to return it, but I don't have any clothes for another individual. That was my clothes when I opened the bag. However, the Brenton called the officer back 2 hours later after the conversation and confessed to not being completely honest. And they said they had grabbed the wrong bag at the luggage carousel due to exhaustion. According to the court filings, Brenton said that they had opened the bag at the hotel, realized it wasn't theirs, got nervous that someone would think they stole it, which they did, and didn't know what to do. They said they emptied the luggage and left the person's clothes inside the drawers of a dresser in a hotel room. The official was charged with felony theft of movable property without consent, as first reported by the Minnesota outlet Alpha News. Alpha News, which I believe is the source that I quoted on this show yesterday. Legitimate news, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing legitimate news. Brenton, who became one of the government's first non-binary individuals, was placed on leave a month ago following the accusations. So this person, Sam Brenton, is no longer in charge of America's nuclear waste. Which, that alone is the part that's like, this person, whoever hired this person, who obviously has some mental disorders, the person who hired this person should also be fired and suspended and investigated for judgment.
We have a former nuclear facility close to where I live that I bet this person, Sam Britton, has been around this area. I'm being serious. That's a big topic of discussion in our area for years now, is this nuclear waste cleanup from this facility. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. A buddy of mine worked for a company contracted to open these containers and check to see if any yellow cake uranium had appeared. And if it hadn't, he closed them and marked them. And every day he said he had to go through the decontamination process and whatnot. But at the time in the late 90s, he made like $90 an hour. He made,
but he could be exposed to uranium cakes.
That's what I told him. I was like, but if you ever have a child, they will have 6 arms. He was like, I don't care.
That is not good.
Yeah,
but yeah. I got $90, man.
Yeah,
you got $90 and cancer. What are you talking about? You get $90. Hey, Deacon. Okay, I'm gonna let this load, and then I'll ask you about that in a second. Okay,
yeah.
Guys. So, Deacon, today's not just about having some comment on a trans whatever that is. No, we have harrowing stories of human survival.
Survival.
Oh my God! How come you don't do any voiceovers for our show, man?
Well, because nobody writes me any shit to do it.
Do I look like a writer?
Harrowing. I don't even remember what you said now. You write better than me. I can say it. You write it.
Yeah, but I don't have time to. Yeah. Okay. I was telling my wife this morning. I was like, I'm trying to do this show on a shoestring budget, and we need to save up for some shoestring. All right. Okay. So we got stories about planes. We got stories about trains. We got stories about dipshit politicians. But first, I want to talk about these guys on boats.
Yeah.
Boats. Did you see this yesterday? Hold on. Where's it at? There were some Nigerians that were attempting to get to the Canary Islands, and they thought probably the best way to do that would be, instead of like taking a normal boat or a charter or like I don't know, how do you get from Nigeria to the Canary Islands? An airplane? I have no idea. But these guys thought, what's probably the best thing for us to do is to climb onto the tail fin of a tanker and just sit there for 3 days. Did you see that?
What?
Yes. These 3 Nigerian people were stowaways on some sort of a tanker, some sort of a transport vessel. 3 stowaways were captured sitting on the giant rudder of an oil tanker after they survived That is them sitting on the rudder of the thing. And they survived a remarkable 11-day voyage from Nigeria to the Canary Islands. 11 days sitting precariously on that thing as that twists or whatever, and the ocean is doing this stuff, dude.
Yeah, I mean, does that thing ever get completely submerged?
I don't know. I have no idea.
If they fell off that thing, you're dead. That's just
right.
Dead.
You're going in the ocean. You're 11 days from Nigeria. So the ship, which left Lagos, Nigeria on November 17th, covered 2,000 miles during the 11-day journey to the Spanish territory off Northwest Africa, according to a tracking website, Marine Traffic. They were treated for dehydration, hypothermia after the perilous trip. So, I mean, and here, I mean, look how big this ship is. This is a massive ship, and
huge ship.
So, on the one hand, it's like, that is miraculous they survived, and I'm glad they survived. Don't do this. This is stupid. They could easily be dead.
Okay, so let me show you this one is a road map, but you can see the trip so it would have gone down this way.
Oh yeah, that looks like the open ocean to me.
Yeah.
No. Why would they think that's a good idea? Okay. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Good for them. I'm glad they survived. Did they survive?
Yeah, they survived. They survived, and dehydration, and now they're being, I guess, deported back to Nigeria.
Wow.
And crazy, you never know, they could be.
Anybody can do.
I think this guy in the yellow shirt is actually a prince too.
He owe you some money. I like the snow.
He sent me an email. He said that he had a cousin that had just needed to get some of their money out of the country. If I would deposit $500 into their account, they would be able to transfer me.
Legit. I haven't even looked at chat. There's no need for nuclear war. Yeah, I like the snow.
Okay. All right. So we have another story that was on this came on the 28th. Dealing with water and such, like, and boats and stuff like that. So from New York Post, 200 fishermen, Deacon, 200 fishermen were rescued from an iceberg that broke free on a Minnesota lake. That sentence is just loaded with things that I'm like, what? I don't understand. 200 fishermen on an iceberg. There's icebergs in Minnesota. What?
I guess there is. Big enough to hold 200 fishermen. Jeez.
Right. So here's a photo. I mean, it just looks like a big old piece of ice or whatever. Rescuers rushed to a frigid Minnesota lake Monday to save 200 fishermen who became stranded on a detached iceberg, according to authorities. The urgent rescue began at 11:30 a.m. when anglers on Upper Red Lake called the Beltrami County Sheriff's Office for help. The callers told authorities that a large piece of ice broke off from the main shoreline and numerous people were stuck. Can you imagine being out at the lake doing a little ice fishing? Can you do a Fargo accent?
I have to.
Like, we're out there
I have
fishing.
to listen to those people. I have to listen to a thick accent before I can emulate it.
Okay.
The one word that I always say is oofta, oofta. When we went to Minnesota, when we went up to Minnesota, they had said oofta. I had to ask, what does oofta? I have to listen to it or I'll start blending my accents.
We was out there, me and Charlie, we was out there doing ice fishing.
Yeah,
dare. We was out there fishing. I had a cup of cocoa. And, you wouldn't have believed it, but the shore just broke off from the...
It's not the best.
And there we was, floating out there, and I said, well, gosh darn it.
There was a store up there in the Mall of America that had a bunch of that chintzy stuff that was Yankee stuff, and I asked that one person that was in there. I was like, hey, I'm from down south, and they're loving the accent. I'll put it on a little bit more, kind of talk with a little bit more southern drawl, and they love that crap. So I asked what all those. I was like, I hear people say oofta. What does that mean? And the guy was like, it kind of means damn it. I was like, oh, that's a cool word. I like that one, oofta. But you can't say that shit in the South. Somebody will look at you like, what the hell did you just say, boy?
Oofta. So anyway, there was people on a big old chunk of ice. 200 people were stuck on a piece of ice floating in frozen water. Anyway, they're okay. They're all right.
Screw that. I hate the winter. The winter. No. You people that live up north, God bless.
You just got to be careful when you're out there ice fishing.
Y'all are a special kind of crazy, man.
Make sure to take a sandwich with you. All right. Let's see. One of these.
Funny accent.
I mean, I love it.
Talking that Yankee tongue.
This one was first. I'm going to do this one first. I saw this over the weekend, and I was like, oh, I hope I have the opportunity to discuss this because I was actually quite concerned because when the story broke, I didn't know what the resolution was, but now we know what the resolution was.
Okay.
Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. You don't know. Let's see. This story was on November 29th, but the initial break of the story was over like Sunday night, I believe. And here it is. The pilot of a small plane that crashed into power lines. Yeah, his plane has crashed into a power line. In Maryland, admitted he goofed on approach, and he told a 911 dispatcher that he didn't know how long he and his passenger could remain perched in the aircraft above the ground. Patrick Merkel, 65, called 911 for help after he crashed his single-engine Mooney M20J into the high-tension wire Sunday evening as he was preparing to land at Montgomery County Air Park in Gaithersburg. I've flown into a tower to the northwest of Gaithersburg Airport. It's one of the electrical towers, and believe it or not, the aircraft is pinned in the tower. I don't know how long we're going to be able to stay here. He explained that he and his passenger, Jan Williams, suffered head injuries. Look at this, dude. Flying an airplane, whoops, hit a tower. That tower happens to be a high voltage power transmission tower. You can't get out. You're just dangling there like, well, we're not dead yet, but like very well could die. So they probably sat there for like, I don't know how long. because think of all the things that had to happen to get them down. You had to shut down massive power transmission and ground that stuff out. And then you have to figure out some way to get up to this airplane safely and extract them. This was nuts. Jan Williams may have cracked their ribs. And while he's on the phone call, calling the dispatcher, he's like, oh, my plane's moving because of the wind. So the wind is moving your plane that's precariously kind of snagged in an electrical tower. The plane was dangling about 100 feet off the ground. Merkel, who's a lawyer, tells the dispatcher that dropping tail first from that height would not be a survivable distance.
Well, really, that's what I was just sitting here thinking. You would think that if the plane fell from that height, that they would be able to survive from it, because you don't have the impact of you don't have the factor of the speed and stuff like that. You're not going to get to a terminal velocity from that height. But I guess with
you also get sandwiched.
That's what I was just fixing to say. You have all that, yeah, I wouldn't, but I guess I don't know. There's smarter folks out there than me, but gosh, did they survive? Did they get them out?
They got them out. They got them out. I think they got them out.
That's nuts.
Let's see. I'm looking. The pilot and passenger were rescued about 12:30 a.m. in what officials called a Herculean effort by emergency personnel.
Say so, man.
No kidding, man.
Give those people a round of applause.
And that should just telling you, don't drink and fly. That's all.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a fact. I mean, those little planes, they're light. The wind could have bluffed them around or whatever. Maybe he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. I don't know, but
I've been in one of those little bitty planes before. A buddy of mine had some flying lessons, and he took me with him, and it was interesting. It was a little 4-seater plane, and the guy was like, I'm going to let him land. I was like, the hell you are. You're going to land this son of a bitch. Not my friend.
You're going to land this plane, and we're not going to be friends anymore.
That's right.
Get me out of this coffin.
Never coming back up in this son of a bitch ever again. It was cool.
My friend Lindy, when she was, I've told you about Lindy before. She was a pilot. And when she was in college, she was, doing all this single engine stuff or whatever. She offered to fly me once, and I was like, no, I've seen you drive. You don't even know left from right. No way. I'm not flying with you. And that hurt her feelings, but I was like, I'm sorry, but like, I've seen you turn on, I've seen you use Post-it notes to tell you which blinker goes left and right. So there's no way that I'm getting in an airplane. I'm sorry, I can't do it. So, but she could get the plane up in the air, right, and fly into a headwind, and then the plane wouldn't move forward or backward. She could throttle it down just enough so that the plane was just sitting like
in the air,
floating. Yes. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating. I'm never getting in a plane with you.
No, I'm not doing that shit.
Never. So, okay. Hey, we got another pilot story.
Okay.
I know you. I think you're loving this stuff. Oh, this one looks.
I am loving it. I'm loving it. Are we gonna get copyright stricken now?
No, I think you can get. Can't you get like 6 or 7 seconds or something like that?
I was always told on the radio, you got 6 seconds.
Yeah, you know better than me. I defer to your expertise. So, a different pilot entirely miraculously survives plane crash and hikes 6 miles to get help.
Wow.
A pilot survived a small plane crash in Utah Canyon over the weekend and hiked about 6 miles to get help. The twin-tailed pusher propeller aircraft crash landed. Look how many hyphens there are. Can you see this? Hyphen, hyphen, hyphen. Who wrote this story? Steven Soros? You need a discount on hyphens. The twin-tailed pusher propeller aircraft crash landed near Durst Mountain, several miles up the Cottonwood Canyon Road, somewhere in Utah. The pilot made a skilled forced landing and miraculously walked away from the crash, according to officials, before hiking for 2 hours to find cell service to call 911. After triangulating the pilot's location, rescuers used ATVs to reach the crash site due to the difficult terrain. Normally, with these situations, we have a great deal of difficulty finding the aircraft or people. In this case, he just kind of got out of his plane, dusted himself off, and walked down to this ATV road until he could get into cell phone range. It looks like this is some of his plane in this photo, and there's a cab of a car, and there's some of the plane there. So he crashed his plane, got up, walked away, made a phone call. Hey, I need a little bit of help. Once again, another like harrowing story of these people. Human beings are just so amazing. They put themselves in like reckless danger, and then extract. And you know, in this case, was fortunate enough to survive whatever he was doing flying around up there. Okay, I'm not going to recount that once more for Deacon. I am going to go check the comments. I see that Brian Perkins asked what the world record was for the most people on a surfboard. It's pretty funny. I like that. Thank you for that joke. We sure appreciate that, sir. Right. And Jeremy tells me there's no danger from nuclear waste. You should listen to the topic to Galen Windsor on the topic. Okay. Maybe there's no danger from nuclear waste. I don't know. I always thought that was the stuff that like we were all concerned about. Otherwise, why aren't we doing nuclear everything all over the place? Why don't we have nuclear power anymore? All right, so we've talked about planes. Let's talk about trains and fucking Nimrods.
Whoa. I turned my headphones back on, and that's the only two words I heard.
Sorry. So we've talked about boats. We talked about boats this morning. We talked about planes. So let's talk about trains and Dundering Nincompoops, which is in our title. And as you may have seen, I don't know if we ever actually talked about this. This is about 6 weeks before the election. Do you remember, Deacon, that there was a threat that the rail union would go on strike and that would increase prices? Do you remember there was like hubbub? And then at the 11th hour, the Biden administration made a deal with the rail workers union and they wouldn't strike.
With thunder in the background. It was really cool moment. Yeah, it was cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
The wind was blowing. Biden's cape was flowing in the wind. It was really cool. It was a nice moment.
There were spotlights. A full marching band came out.
I remember that. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, that was cool.
We should have covered it. I don't know why we don't cover stories like that on this show.
Lazy. Yeah, we're lazy.
All right. So, here from I always lose the button. I wish there was a button on my screen that was like, just put this on the show. Where's my producer? Do your job.
You need to code that.
That's right. Do your job.
Son of a.
From Breitbart.com, which I have to admit is 49.5 out of 100. So I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. It might be news.
I don't know.
Joe Biden, maybe. I don't know. Joe Biden punts looming rail strike to Congress after failure to reach a deal. Oh, so there was a deal long enough for the elections to happen, and then Democrats could be, in charge of Congress again.
That's what I was fixing to say. It sounds like old Joe did exactly what old Joe done 4 or 5 times in a fucking row and duped all you Democrat people that voted for Democrats. Is he tells you one thing and does the exact opposite once you vote.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
3-3.
All right. President Joe Biden on Monday asked Congress to pass legislation to reach an agreement between railroad workers and management after he failed to reach an agreement. Listen here, Jack. I'm calling on Congress can you do a Joe Biden? I don't know if you can do a Joe Biden. Can you? I can't do a Joe Biden. I can't. I'm not. No. I'm calling on Congress to pass legislation immediately to adopt the tentative agreement between railroad workers and operators without any modifications or delay to avert a potentially crippling national railroad shutdown, Biden wrote in a statement issued by the White House. Biden admitted in his statement his advisors and cabinet officials believed there was no path to resolve the dispute at the bargaining table.
Isn't that amazing?
So This man that wants to fund a war with Ukraine, funnel all kinds of money through Ukraine and FTX and get it to the Democrats. This guy who believes that, they can outlaw gas engines and make everybody go gas. He can't win an argument with railroad workers. This is your president. This is your president. Nearly 7,000 freight trains could be idled by December 9th if an agreement is not reached, costing businesses up to $2 billion per day. Today is a big win, and I mean it sincerely, for a win for America, he said triumphantly on September 15th when he basically said he had made a deal with these people. Of course, I guess he didn't. So instead, he's just passing the buck, and he wants Congress to just give them whatever they want. So if that doesn't just piss you off, it just pisses me off. I don't have any problem with railroad workers, but why do railroad workers get to halt the entire U.S. economy?
That's true.
Do you like having gas and products and stuff like that in Kentucky?
That's true. I understand.
I mean, don't you have a railroad going right by your train station?
10 feet, 20, actually, 30 feet from me, if I want to get literal.
So Deacon, hold on. There's some sunshine. There's some silver lining here. It's very possible that the president of the United States could make it so that you don't have a railroad train going by your radio station for a couple days.
Oh no, this one would.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It runs to an industrial complex and runs from eastern Kentucky here to western Kentucky to an industrial complex or through an industrial complex. And like I said the other day, it hauls a lot of coal. These industrial chemical plants over here use a lot of coal to fire their plants. Still.
Okay.
They do. There's a huge pile of it over here. It's amazing to look at.
All right. Well, Joe Biden's a failure. That's not news. It's just Tuesday.
Nincompoop.
Yeah. Oh well, that's because. How about this? I got another Biden story. I know you love Biden stories. I know you love them.
It always puts me in. When you have a Joe Biden story, it always puts me in a really good mood. I always just get chipper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You should just get your little fire thing ready. Your little pitcher. I wanted to pull a passage out of 1984, but if you've ever read 1984, you'll know that the main character Winston, one of his jobs is to revise history. You go into the news article and you're like, oh, it wasn't exactly that, and then they just change history because in the book 1984, nobody's allowed to whatever the party says is what happened is what everybody just believes what happens, because if you don't agree with that, you end up getting shuttled down to a little every education facility and brutalized or whatever. So the Ministry of Truth would take the headlines and revise the history so that the history was always current with whatever the party said is what's going on. We are not at war with East Asia. We've always been at war with East Asia. So the reason why I say that is because in this story, our I don't know, probably bestest ever press secretary said on which is Karine Jean-Pierre on Monday. White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said that President Biden's Thanksgiving Day criticism of semi-automatic firearms was actually meant to be directed towards assault weapons. The president has said repeatedly that he wants to ban assault weapons, but on Thanksgiving, when he was in Nantucket, he said, quote, "The idea that we will allow the purchase of semi-automatic weapons in this country today is sick." That is a quote from the president of the United States. Obviously, that is a huge category of guns, from rifles to pistols to shotguns, that are not assault weapons. Did the president misspeak, Or does he, in fact, want to ban all semi-automatic guns?
Or is he lying his ass off because he's going to legalize marijuana? He's going to cut your education. He's going to do all the, is he lying his ass? We're going to ban all the guns. Now that you voted, I can't ban all the guns.
So White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre from behind the podium.
Saying that name, don't you?
It's hard to say. It's not as good as Peppermint Patty, which is our previous one.
Jean-Pierre
responded, no. He was talking about assault weapons. That's what he was talking about on that morning or afternoon when he was asked that question. So she just straight erased his quote was, the idea that we still allow the purchase of semi-automatic weapons in this country today is sick. And then she goes back and revises it to the press. No, that's not what he said. What he was saying is assault weapons. So we literally live in like a dystopian, like,
I hate to do this.
A world where clowns run everything.
I hate to do this, but in a defense of her, he is a fucking moron and just says moronic shit all the time. So he very well could have meant, they could have been like, okay, Joe, we want assault weapons. Say that with me, assault weapons. And then when Joe gets out there, he's like, semi-automatic weapons. However Joe talks, I can't do him. You know what I mean? He's a moron.
That was the worst Joe impression ever.
I don't know. I don't really want to impersonate a pedophile, to be honest with you. So I'm just putting on a caricature voice.
Allegedly.
Alleged. Do you go around sniffing?
Hey, dude.
People.
Come on, man. I don't want to get
the
banned.
Fuck? If somebody ever sniffed me, I want somebody to sniff me just so that I can react to that.
He is disgusting. He's a disgusting person and a crook. I will say outright, I think he's a crooked criminal.
Well, they all are. So. All right, what else do we got? I know we got a bunch of stuff. We got 15 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. We got the houses. Oh, okay. Let's
put a couple of things in there.
Yeah, I see. I do want to cover this real quick. I should have had this graphic up. Now, Deacon, you recall that this fella right beneath you right there, right underneath your that guy right there. That's the soon to be probably Speaker McCarthy.
This is right here.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, he was the House Minority Leader during this disgusting haggard monster's reign. So while she was the Speaker of the House for the Democrats, that there was the Minority Leader, the Minority Whip for the Republicans. So now that the Republicans are taking the House taking control of the House by a very, very slim majority. There are about 30 or so Freedom Caucus Republicans that are like, no, not this guy. And basically, he doesn't exactly have all of the support that he needs to become Speaker of the House. So, appearing on Newsmax TV, and I'm not going to pull this picture up. F this guy. Let me just be real clear. I despise this person. Actually, kind of despise all of these people. I despise this person, and she's fired now. And I also despise McCarthy and Lindsey Graham and your boy McConnell. Basically, all of them.
Look,
yeah,
he's a good boy.
Yeah. Good boy. Looks like a turtle.
He does look like a turtle, don't he? I mean, he does. He looks like a turtle.
I have a story, I guess, later. I'll share. So House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said on Monday on Newsmax TV's Spicer and Company that if Republican members play games, the Democrats may end up picking the next House Speaker. McCarthy said, well, we have to listen, but you have to listen to everybody in the conference because 5 people on any side can stop anything when you're in the majority. Mm-hmm. So So here's the deal. He doesn't entirely have enough support. There are a few members of the House that are, of the Freedom Caucus that are basically like anti-establishment, populist, America first, not necessarily MAGA, but definitely like freedom first. And they think this guy, Kevin McCarthy, is not the guy to be the leader of the party. But you got a bunch of establishment shills, and you could have Democrats that line up to vote for Kevin McCarthy to make him Speaker of the House. So he's very likely to be Speaker of the House. But he's in kind of a precarious situation where he doesn't entirely have enough support, but the people that are putting stress on him are probably the good guys. So he's probably going to get some more support from even worse bad guys just to become the Speaker of the House. So that's sort of a situation up there. We should just be aware of it. But Kevin McCarthy is the next Nancy Pelosi, the next person that we all get to universally despise. Okay, that's that. I had one more thing. I have one more boat story, and then we can talk about your monks. Check this out. You haven't seen this because I didn't put it in there. From the Daily Wire, a shipwreck found at the bottom of Norway's largest lake could be 700 years old, archaeologists believe.
That's cool.
Yeah, right?
Very cool. Yeah.
The shipwreck, now look at this. The shipwreck is dated sometime between 1300 or maybe 1850. It could be centuries old, or it could be like 200 years old. It could potentially be from the Middle Ages. It was discovered by researchers who were searching for some surplus ammunition and explosives that I guess got dumped in the lake. The lake is freshwater. Hold on. Part of this is I want to give you a chance to give us an impression. Now, this is a quote from a Norwegian University of Science and Technology marine archaeologist. So we've got to do Norwegian voices. How do we do Norwegian?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
that was great. That was perfect.
I'm going to Muppets, right? That's where.
Yeah, the Swedish chef doesn't say that's racist or something now. Did you know that?
Oh man, no. What?
Yep. He doesn't do that anymore. And he was one of my favorites. Bork. Yeah, he don't.
Oh, okay.
That's
because it's a freshwater lake. The wood in the ship is preserved. The metal might rust, and the ship might lose its structure, but the wood's intact. Apparently, it's kind of cool. So it could be from 1850, or it could be from 1300. 1300. It could be like nearly 1,000 years old.
I would be leaning more towards the 1850 side of things, but that's cool if it is that old.
Well, I was optimistic that I could get a Norwegian voice, but I can't even really. And now I'm afraid of being called a racist.
So, don't worry, I was yesterday inadvertently. That's you sound
yeah, spot on. My accent is perfect. All right, let's talk about your months. I got your
you got the story up?
Yeah, I got it coming up. Here you go. Boop. There we go. Check this out. From CBS News, Deacon gets real news. 90 out of 100.
Right.
Real.
I'll
every
make
monk.
Real.
Okay. I'm gonna let you. Why don't you tell about it?
Every monk in this Thai temple was defrocked after they were tested positive. They all tested positive for meth.
For COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, meth.
It's a Buddhist temple in central Thailand, and
no
photos. 4 monks, including an abbot, were tested positive for methamphetamine Monday. The monks have been sent to a health clinic to undergo drug rehabilitation. The temple is now empty of monks, and nearby villagers are concerned that they cannot do any merit making. Merit making involves worshipers donating food to the monks as a good deed for them. So, wow, that's
I mean, this is actually good news because instead of having to take that hike all the way up the mountain to do that, they can just kind of go around to the corner and find the local meth head on the corner and donate food to that guy.
he,
Just save yourself some extra work.
I mean, okay, so why did the monks take the meth? The meth is going to keep them up, right?
Right.
What do the monks do? They sit and pray and do all that crap for hours and days and weeks and years and shit like that. So were these monks taking meth and just like staying awake for days?
Maybe it's maybe it's the modern equivalent of peyote or ayahuasca. It's their religious experience to just get tweaked out.
It says on the street meth pills called a yaba sell for less than 20 bahit, around 50 cents. Meth, and particularly yaba, can be easily found in every corner of Thailand. Supply is up everywhere, and at this point, a tablet is cheaper than a beer. That's why, because
Wow.
it's the cheapest high. And the population will go for the cheapest high.
I would not have expected the monks to break bad.
It's the cheapest high. If the cheapest high were marijuana, if the cheapest high were the beer, it would be that, and they wouldn't have a problem as bad as this. I'm telling you, that's why it's the cheapest.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen Manuel this morning. I was gonna watch this Grinch
save
video.
it because it's not like topical.
Yeah, it's really not. We got. Did you put this thing in here about Twitter?
Yeah,
something about Twitter.
Yeah, but I thought I'd put another one in this morning.
Have you been watching what's going on Twitter? I don't feel like. I mean, I'm on Twitter. Oh, I got like kind of a pretty. Let's see. I got a tweet. I did a tweet yesterday to somebody, and I got a response here. Let me show you. Can I show you my Twitter feed? I'm just so proud of myself. Here's here is Anna P. Moore. I'm sorry, Anna M. Poor, a poet and author, and she's a producer on a post-production company called Film Look Inc. She's got like thousands of followers, and her company has twice as many, 3 times as many. So she literally is like she owns a production company, and she posted a ha 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 at a tweet that I put up yesterday, and she followed me. So I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Here's my tweet. If a rhino had a flaccid penis, it would look like this. Oh, he's on the air. Dang, Deacon. Oh my gosh. So the Twitter. So right now, Elon Musk is setting free like 62,000 people from under general amnesty. I don't think he's going to let Alex Jones out, but his team is starting to like let free a bunch of people that have been banned for conservative views, for being like politically like sandboxed or whatever, just to suppressed. Oh, there's Manuel. Okay. And obviously the left is just like losing their minds because they're losing their ability to browbeat corporations over the head with their Twitter mobs. So,
hey,
so they're just going.
I thought that was cool that she responded to you. I didn't want to. I had to do that break, but that was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the tweet that she responded
to? Yeah. Did you misspell that?
What, rhino? It's not. It's no H because it's not a rhinoceros. It's a Republican in name only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she got it.
I didn't get.
That's 2 of us.
Okay. Good. Okay, that's why I was like, I don't.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole joke.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Anyway, so have you been messing around on Twitter, and are you following what's going on? Is any of it of interest to you? Obviously, Elon Musk taking over. He fired like almost everybody. The service works just fine.
That's what I was trying to explain to a relative.
People are getting unbanned.
That's what I was trying to explain to a relative over the Thanksgiving break, and they were talking about it, and they were like, "Now, what's he done?" And me and another relative were basically saying the same thing. We were like, "He's fired like 90% of the company, and the company still works exactly like it did. They've lost a few. They've lost a few advertisers, but that is 1000% expected. I work in a very similar business, and when you do something like that, if we were to change formats from classic country to rock and roll, it is expected that we are going to lose 50% of our advertisers. But part of that, part of what they're not saying is there's a projection as well that you will pick up probably 20 to 30% advertisers that you're going to pick up are going to be advertisers that you would have never got, when you did it your other way. So you get those advertisers back. So that's what they're picking at right now. Twitter has lost all these advertisers and has lost this and has lost this. It's like, okay, that's expected from this whole process. Elon's got people that have already told him a long time ago, you're going to lose advertisers, but the projection to pick up more advertisers is in the next 2 years, you're going to pick up this percentage of new advertisers that you wouldn't have.
I mean, like, what are people going to do? Of course, they're going to stay on Twitter. They're going to get back on Twitter. More people are using Twitter now than have used it ever before. And like tons of like we already talked about, like the dipshit, like if Elon takes over, I'm leaving Twitter. Those dipshits, they can't leave Twitter. Like, they're too stupid. They're like, we're gonna go to Mastodon, and then they get to Mastodon, and they immediately get censored for being racist.
These people that are leaving though, they're like, you see these posts on Reddit and stuff. It's like, it's a big long post about how they're leaving Twitter because it's nothing but a Nazi fascist, message board now. And it's like, okay, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. The one I read the other day was I read a big long one, and I was like, who wrote this? And I looked up Moby. Do you remember Moby? The washed up DJ from the 90s.
Oh, that guy.
The 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, do I really give a shit what Moby and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, says? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, if you're on Twitter and you say something at all, and you have a Ukrainian flag in your name, or you have bios or you have pronouns in your bio, or some other flags in your username or whatever, immediately I'm just like, you're an idiot, and I'm not going to give you any credibility at all. You say nothing that matters to anybody. So I know, I mean, if you got a little profile picture that's blue and yellow, you're just a dipshit being led around by the nose. Okay, so what was the thing about? Oh yeah, Twitter is no longer enforcing its COVID misinformation policy. So that means it's almost as though Twitter is like, hold on, the government's telling us that we have to abide by these guidelines, but the government's maybe not being truthful.
So are you saying that all of those people that got in trouble on Twitter for saying that COVID people should take the ivermectin, and they got in trouble for Twitter for passing misinformation, are you saying that now that's not misinformation, even though the CDC put it back on their fucking website that you should?
I am not saying any of that. All I'm saying is that how can you know what misinformation is when the organizations responsible for providing information are full of shit and telling you things that are not true?
You should actually do what you're supposed to and not just read one headline or one article and put some time into studying and researching what you're doing and read both sides and both opinions and form your own. That's what you're supposed to do
So
instead of just being led around and told what to do.
The only thing that I see is that on Twitter website there was a note posted effective November 23rd, 2022. Twitter is no longer enforcing the COVID misleading information policy. That is the totality of the statement. So whatever they were doing before, they're not doing now. So now, as far as I know, YouTube still is, because I got a ban for that. That was like 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. So I don't know.
I think you got a ban for my mouth is what got the ban. I think my mouth got the ban.
Well, if we haven't got if we don't get in trouble for Brenton, I think we're good.
I was not trying to be offensive this morning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't either, but like they make it so difficult.
I know.
Make it so difficult. Okay. Well, I mean, that's really all I got this morning. So we had planes, trains, boats, and a bunch of disgusting, horrible, haggard politicians.
It's the transportation episode.
Yeah. And we didn't even talk about Buttigieg.
Huh? Oh, I don't like that guy's name.
How about, okay, so Jeremy says, how about listen to expert voices and give dissenters the benefit of the doubt, since, they were right all along. Dr. Simone Gold is a political prisoner. I don't know. Okay, so expert voices. Who's an expert voice? Deacon. And let me ask you this question. If you were talking to an expert as a DJ, how do you know who an expert is?
Huh? What are we talking about?
How do you know
an expert on any subject?
I'm just trying to understand. On any subject.
I want to know what they know about that subject and how long that they've, what kind of.
But how do you, when you interview people, how do you credential them as an expert?
I don't know, honestly. First of all, if I've ever tried to categorize someone as an expert, but I usually look at their background and what they've done. I mean, even if you're like, hey man, I never went to school, but for the past 20 years, I've immersed myself in Elvis Presley lore, and yeah, I ask you a couple of questions and real quick, you can realize if somebody's full of crap or is an expert. So you don't have to have a PhD to be an expert in something, I don't believe. I was told one time that if you immerse yourself in a subject for like 6 to 8 months, you can become an expert in the subject if you do nothing but immerse yourself in that subject for really? 6 to 8 months. How do you determine an expert?
I don't know. That's the thing. We can't. That's my point. You're not qualified. I'm not qualified to determine who's an expert. Who is an expert that I should be listening to?
It's a personal opinion.
It's not. You can't. There's no. Even if I were qualified as an expert on something, I wouldn't be qualified to discern who else is an expert to listen to or refute. So like the whole kind of meta narrative, like the media runs of like, listen to the experts, follow the science, follow the science.
Just because they're an expert doesn't mean that they're right, though. Because
according to
I sat in here and listened to a ER doctor the other day sit here and say that in this interview, he was being interviewed and he said he's an ER doctor. And he said, yeah, in 2020, the flu just disappeared. We didn't see it anywhere. And we saw a little bit of it come back the next year. But, I think we'll see a little bit more this year. But yeah, the flu just disappeared in 2020. And I wanted to turn around and go, dude, you're a fucking doctor. Do you know what you just said? You don't realize what you just said. The flu just disappeared. And the year that we had COVID, it just disappeared. You think that's what happened? PhD man, that's what happened? Expert?
This is what I'm talking about.
So just because you're an expert in something doesn't mean that
exactly. So you could appear to be totally expert and say nonsense stuff, or you could appear to be like, I don't know, a mechanic or something, and you happen to actually know a lot. There's no way for us, general public, to know who the experts are that we're supposed to be listening
right
to.
there for you.
So
if I was interviewing you, I could go. Comic book expert JJW is on the line with me here today. JJ, we see that you're there, and you got the comic books and stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Tell us
about expert. I know all about Snake Plissken.
Tell us about Metal Gear.
I'm a major fan of Kurt Russell. I know all of his, all of his movies. His Santa Claus movie was so good. So yeah. So the thing about flu deaths, since you bring that up, we got to go. We got to get going. The thing about flu deaths is that we have no idea how many people die from the flu. We don't know that they disappeared or didn't disappear, because all the numbers running up to when the flu deaths disappeared, all fake. It's all estimates of how many people died of the flu, because in the winter a bunch of people die, and then the doctors are like, well, it must be the flu every year. So in 2016, it's estimated that the estimated deaths of the flu, 2016, 38,000. 2017, 52,000. 2018, 28,000. 2019, 25,000. 2020 to 20 for 2020, they just skipped the year. They don't have any idea, dude. Now, should you believe me? No, I don't know.
You're just an idiot.
Dude, don't believe anybody. Everybody's
form your own.
We live in the most absurd reality. All right, that's all we got. Thanks for watching our Planes, Trains, and Dundering Nincompoops episode. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe. This is rumble.com/JJW. You can also watch us on Twitter. Did you know that? You can watch us on Twitter, but you got to look for it. And you can watch us on YouTube. If you search for like Your Two Dads or JJW, you should be able to find it. Honestly, finding this show is your problem, not mine. But once you're here, I would love for you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you leave a really good comment, we're going to read it on the show. Deacon's vamping for you. Here, Merry Christmas. We love you. Let's go. I'm so excited. Bye, everybody.